So last night in our men's group, we went around asking each other what we wanted for ourselves in 2025. And I saved this question for you, Shaun, because you're part of this crew. I want to know. Um, but real quick, this morning, um, my friend texts me and she says, hey, me and a friend were talking about you. We saw your post about ghosts on Instagram, and we feel like you have internally arrived. I don't know if that's true. Yeah, I have to sit with that to see what that means. But I love this concept of arriving, and I was thinking about that this morning while I was having coffee and meditating. And one behavior I noticed, because I think arriving, it doesn't come with a loud bell. I think it kind of is subtle. The concept of kind of coming back to self. Dude, at the in the CrossFit box, it's the first time ever that I'm not being competitive. I'm not like going aggro. I'm not like posting things on the leaderboard. I'm just going in, doing my own workout in the corner, coming home, and actually enjoying it. I'm doing things like running, things that I never really did. I used to be just like muzzled greyhound, hardcore, blasting AC/DC and, almost hurting myself every time. But now I'm just like um, working out in a different way. And my point in sharing this is I wonder if even behavior like that is a sign that you're kind of coming back to self. Um, I know that was long winded, but my question for you, Shaun, is what do you want for yourself in 2025? By the way, this episode is just John Kim. John's not even here.
Yeah,
I'm just talking to myself. Thanks for your patience.
I could always trust that John, and this is just happened organically. John has the opener. That's what happens. I don't have to worry about the beginning of the episode. John's already got a thing.
Did we actually have a moment where we were both we have a moment in the beginning where we were both trying to say something and we're cutting each other off, and it seems like we were trying to fight for the opening, or no?
No, I think
Okay.
no, I don't think so. I think this has just happened organically.
I don't want to take it if you want it. I don't want to be the opening guy. If you don't, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to take it from you.
I see you in your leadership, John.
Oh.
And that works for me. I know it sounds really cheesy. It's actually a thing that we talk about in this. I'm back in Montreal for that somatic therapy program. For people who are curious what it is, look it up. It's called Core Energetics, but it's a leadership program. And when people take up space or they like come to the group with something, people say like, "Oh, that was a really beautiful show of leadership." I really like to see you in your leadership. And so that's what this feels like, right? Like you've got a thing, you like to bring it. I like to receive it.
Yeah,
so
I hear
it works. I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Cool. There was a lot there.
There's a lot there, Shaun.
There was a lot.
I'll answer. I kind of dumped on you today.
No, it's fine. It doesn't feel like dumping. I'll answer your question, but first I want to just like name that it sounds like you're showing up in a different way.
Yeah.
That's more for you and less for others.
Yes, that's a great way to put it. And I think it's happening slowly. I think part of it is just being older, man. I mean, something shifted in me at 50. You just, dude, at 50, you just kind of care less. You start wondering why you're doing things. You start asking yourself how you want to spend your time and who you want to spend your time with. And, and I think now I'm going to be 52 in April, man. And I'm just, I'm a little bit different. I'm still me, but I'm a little bit different when it comes to, like you just said, what is coming from self and truth, and what is coming from an external,
I didn't say it like that, but yeah, you have a very poetic way of reframing things. That's interesting that, it's more for you, less for others, caring a little bit less about what other people think of you. It's interesting. This week, I just finished that 4-day module, and I found myself feeling very resistant to being there. I did not want to be there.
This was in person, by the way, right?
This is in person. It's 4 days. It's 9 to 5, kind of like nonstop.
Wow.
Learning, triggering, processing, emotions, really intense. And I gave myself permission to just not connect. I showed up.
Really?
Yeah, I showed up going like, you know what? I'm not connecting. I don't feel like connecting right now. And we're a big group. We're like I think we're 14. So there's a lot of personalities
Mm-hmm.
and relationships are being formed. And what I found myself realizing is that I often am trying to manage people's perception of me.
Mm-hmm.
And in a group dynamic, there's a lot of like, you make eye contact with somebody and then you have to smile, right? Like to signify that you're okay, I'm okay, we're okay. And then you have to do that with 14 people. And this time I just stopped. I just did not smile if I didn't feel like smiling. If my internal landscape wasn't happy, I just wouldn't do it. And then it's like, oh, well, they're going to think I'm an asshole. And that's okay. That's their projection of me. That's their perception of me. I don't have to manage that anymore.
Did they think you were an asshole or arrogant because you weren't connecting or making an effort to connect?
No, because I named the fact that I'm just not going to try this week.
Oh, right.
And so they already saw me as shut down. And it was more of like, oh, Shaun's just shut down.
Yeah, give him space.
Yeah. And I was shut down until I found myself like lobbing little grenades and little arrows at people, which is me just wanting to connect. Like I did want to connect, but I wanted to connect on my terms when I was ready.
Yeah.
And I found that I actually really enjoy conflict. I like inducing it. Yeah, I like being part of it. I like found a lot of pleasure in being in conflict or creating conflict.
You're a little instigator, Shaun.
I'm an instigator. Yeah, absolutely.
Instigator.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I don't feel like you like. Okay, so okay, maybe conflict. You don't like drama. I don't feel like you're someone who likes drama. But when you say conflict, it almost seems like because you're kind of you're just a kind of a flirtatious guy, and I don't mean flirtatious. It doesn't have to be a romantic thing.
Seductive.
Seductive. Okay.
No, I think I use seduction. I think I use seduction to like get what I want or to get my needs met. It's like one of these, it's a way of being in the world.
You poke. I think you poke.
I poke for sure.
But it's not coming from an evil, mean-spirited place. It's coming from more of a playful place.
That in a place of wanting to understand and wanting to connect and wanting to like, because there are some people in the group that I want to hear more from, but they require poking. In order for them to kind of flare up a little bit and take up more room. And that makes me happy. Like when they do take up more room, I get happy.
And not only do some people require it, some people like it. Some people like to be poked. A lot of introverts actually see that as someone caring about them. If you poke them a little bit,
Yeah.
You notice they're quiet or they're the one who's not talking. And so you actually make fun of them or do something that's kind of light and fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I also, realize that like I get a lot of praise on the internet from people who don't know me. And I always had a hard time accepting it. And now I sort of realize why. It's because you don't know me. So you don't actually see who I really am. You're only liking a version of me that I'm showing you.
The poster.
And so because I used to get all this positive feedback and I'm like, it's not coming in. I'm not letting this like flood over me. It doesn't do much for me actually.
Yeah.
And I realized that what I actually like is criticism from people that I do know or who do know me, because that feels real. That feels like me affecting them and also me being able to alter my behavior or understand how I'm impacting other people.
Well, it's perfect you say that because I brought a list today. It's a little bit long.
Let's go, dude. Let's go. Actually, we should do it next week.
Things Shaun can work on.
We should do it next week in person.
Oh, that's a great idea because it terrifies me, dude. Well, that's a great opener. Like you bring a list and I bring a list? No, that could also go very. That could
bring a thing. Bring a thing you want to bring a criticism or something that bothers you about me. Just one thing,
man. That's how you want to open our first live on the roof in person podcast.
Why not? Why not?
I mean, listen, I'm down for anything. So
it's an invitation, John.
Well, but if we do that, I can't do it by myself. You have to do a list too.
I'm not saying a list, just one thing. I'll come up with something. I'll come up with something.
I can't think of just one because I have so many, Shaun.
Oh, it's like one. It's like a snowball, right?
It's a snowball. What do you want? See, I kind of wish we saved this question for the live, but we'll think of something else. What do you want for yourself in 2025?
Why don't we save it for the live? Or is it because you already asked it and you don't want to leave people hanging like that?
But also, we could also ask it again to the audience, and we can still play with it. But Do you know what you want for yourself in 2000? And I don't want to. It's not like not career, not money, not stuff on paper. Because that's easy. We all want things.
Yeah. Well, I was having dinner with my friend last night, and I felt some shame about not actually really knowing whether I want to be in a relationship or not. And that shouldn't be a shameful question, but as a love coach, it's like kind of a weird place to be, because it kind of does feel like people are watching me and they're like, why aren't you in a relationship? Like, what's your issue? Right. And my friend was like, oh, maybe there's a part of you that does want to be in a relationship and there's a part of you that doesn't.
Yeah, but I also think times are changing where now if you see someone who's not in a relationship, especially love coach, you actually think, oh, this person's picky, or this person has, I don't see,
They know what they want and they're willing to wait for it.
Right. I don't see it as like, oh, why is this person a love coach and he's not taking, that there's something wrong with them. I think that's an old story.
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
Also, most people are probably not thinking about that. They're probably like, oh, it'd be nice to go on a date with him or something.
Yeah.
Like, it's not. So I think, my friend said there must be a part of you that some needs are being met by not being in a relationship. The need for freedom.
especially with your new beginning in Los Angeles. I mean, you're having a good time just being single. And
I mean, I guess I've only been there a week, but it has been a good week for sure.
Yeah.
It's been a good week. So I think, what do I want in 2025? I think a relationship, some sort of relationship where I can go deep with someone feels good. It feels nice. That would be great.
So you do want a relationship. So it is something you want.
Part of me does, and part of me doesn't. I think part of me wants a relationship that's a good fit for me. Right. And that might include some freedom and some liberty. And I think I'm just scared to really ask for what I want. And also there's a part of me that doesn't really know what I want. And I'm a little embarrassed about that.
I mean, yeah, I think a lot of us don't really know when we're single what exactly we want. I think we have an idea, but I mean, who knows exactly like, I think there's a danger in I think there's a danger in being so accurate in the description of who you want, what you want, that it kind of sets you up for failure or high expectations that aren't met,
But what about...
Got to be open. Got to be loose.
Is that you? Who's beeping?
It's me. I'm in the garage today. There are no parrots, but there's you might hear a sound or two. It's a very quiet morning, which is why I'm out here.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I also love it out here.
What's beeping?
An Amazon guy.
Oh, delivery.
Yeah, delivery.
For you?
For me. Yes.
Nice. Yeah.
Whole Foods.
Nice, dude.
Can I just say real quick? I don't know if you get grocery delivery, Shaun, but
no, I don't.
Oh my God! If you do it once, it's
a game changer, right?
You'll never go back. You'll the idea of going to the grocery store, getting a card, and fighting traffic, like that's going to feel like a pager. It already has, because grocery delivery is very inexpensive now. It's actually cheap.
I used to get fresh produce delivered in Montreal by this company that has like rooftop greenhouses, but the stretch from there to just ordering all your groceries is actually it's a small bridge. It's a tiny step.
Yes. I judged people and I thought, who does that? And just get in the car and go to the fucking grocery store. What's happening?
You lazy bum.
Yes. I tried it once. I haven't been to the grocery store in probably a year and a half.
Well, I might do it in LA because it's kind of a pain in the ass.
Yes.
The only problem is that we have a gate, and so they'd have to throw the box over. Can you imagine if they threw the box over the gate with all of your fresh, unpasteurized?
You have to come out the gate stuff doesn't work because they leave it on your porch, and that's the beauty. It doesn't fuck with your schedule. You just come home and your groceries are on your porch. It's like magical.
Well, in Altadena, they're on your porch. In East Hollywood, they're no longer on your porch. They were on your porch.
Yeah, you're like, I ordered $200 worth of groceries and there's only a thing of milk. Here, what's going on?
They would take the milk for sure. Cool, man. Yeah, I will look into it.
Okay, so your answer is
maybe a relationship.
You kind of want a relationship.
Yeah, maybe a relationship. I want to go deeper with somebody. I
can't wait till you get into a relationship because then we could process all the activation because
from what
I hear, staying in the relationship is what's hard.
Yeah. And that came up a lot this week. The fact that I have a hard time connecting, or like the initial part of the connection is easy. It's the staying that's hard. for sure.
But I also like the idea of going on double dates with you, going up to the going and getting out of LA, going to Idlewild, doing stuff as like a foursome.
Yeah, I mean that's terrifying. It's terrifying.
Why?
Why? Going on a double date? I've never been on a double date. I've never been on a double date before.
But dude, why is that terrifying? That's fun. That is terrifying. Are you being serious? What scares you about?
I guess if I was in a relationship and things were going well and it was like, we liked each other and she accepted me for who I was, then going on a double date wouldn't be a problem. Like hanging out with other couples wouldn't be a problem. I've just never really hung out as a couple with other couples.
That's so weird. So would you be afraid of what we thought of her, or would you be afraid of what she thought of us?
I don't know.
I don't know. People wouldn't like each other or something?
I have no idea. I'm naming a fear and I don't know what it's about.
Well, we got to give you a corrective experience with the.
Yeah, man, I can't wait.
Yeah. All right.
What's your thing?
Oh, my thing was in the group. I said I wanted to be both more grounded and elevated, but then when I got this text this morning, arrival really resonated with me, and I don't mean it in a kind of arrogant way. Like I've arrived. I'm not talking about like kicking saloon doors open or anything, but a subtle arrival where you feel very connected to yourself, which does equal groundedness and a form of elevation. So, it's just that's what I want to feel for 2025. Is I want to feel like I've arrived, connected to myself, more grounded. Caring less about not just what other people think, but caring less about business, man. Not everything, going back to like what you've done, what you've accomplished, how many tickets you've sold, like all the stuff that, it's work. I get it. But just putting less weight on that because that's always tied to self-worth,
I think there's a thing with men and legacy.
Yeah.
You also now have a daughter to think about and to kind of shepherd and care for. But I think there's something about men wanting to like leave a positive mark on the world.
Oh, absolutely. To leave your dent. Sure. It's one of those things for me that I try not to be concerned with because I find that when people want to leave something, they don't leave much. But when people are just honest and live their truth and story, they leave a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's I don't want to be the guy that tries to force feed things because then no one wants to be fed.
I feel like if you and I both died, like we would have made a positive impact on the world.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, shit, how many questions have we answered, books,
at the very least. We've
all that
entertained
stuff,
people on Instagram.
Dude, that's actually a great question. It's something I used to ask myself, and I know when I was 35, I said, I asked myself, if I died today, like, would I feel like I haven't finished any business? And yeah, I had a big problem with death. Now of course I don't want to die, but now at my age, if I was to pass, I would feel like I've done a few things here,
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you knew you were going to die in like 3 months, what would you do?
Oh, it's 8:51 a.m.
Hey, I mean, that's your defenses are down. That's the best time to answer this question.
I see there's two ways to approach this. One is you go crazy and have every experience you want on this planet, or you go the other way and just go super inward, accept that you're going to, pass, and just focus on loving people and savoring every moment with someone. With all the relationships, like you either savor what's on your plate, or you just want to hit all the restaurants, if that makes sense. In the world.
I just got sad thinking about this, actually.
Thinking about your own mortality?
I mean, thinking about, so I think what came up for me is what I would do is I would fly first class and I'd go and see every single one of my friends. I would just go and I would have.
So it's a combination of both. That's a little bit of both.
Yeah, I would just blow all the money and cash out the 401k.
Yeah.
And I would go have really nice fancy meals with all of my friends.
And I'd pay for everyone. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I would do.
I think that's a great answer. I think that's kind of what I would do too. And I love that you said fly first class.
Yeah, or business if there's no,
Yeah.
No first.
And then so a little bit of indulgence, and then a little bit of quality time. I would definitely make my rounds and see all of my friends that I care about. If I knew
I'd make the rounds.
Of course. And I wouldn't make it sad. I would have a conversation with them where I'm like, okay, I'm spending the day with you, and we're not going to make this sad. We're going to have a great time.
Yeah. Oh, I don't mind. I don't mind it to be sad.
Well,
I cried a lot I didn't cry a lot, but I cried some this last week, and I had an interesting conversation about sadness, actually. Kind of curious your take on this. For me, it always feels good when I cry.
Yeah.
When I'm touching some sort of like tender spot, it doesn't matter whether it's because of my, I miss my dad, or it's because I think back about my childhood, or it's because I was rejected, or it's because whatever. To me, it doesn't really matter the why.
Yeah.
The fact that I'm touching the sadness is what's important to me, because it feels like it's clearing the deck. It's like, do I really need to know? It's like bailing a boat. Sure, it's helpful to know that there's a hole, and if there's anything you could do about it, great. But the point for me is like getting bailing the boat so that the boat doesn't sink. Right. I'm not so interested in like where do these specific tears come from, and how and why is that important? So I'm kind of curious. How do you feel about that?
I want to say first, I love and applaud.
How is this a better? You just like John's getting blasted by the sun. His garage is the door open.
It's a weird morning. It's a weird time of morning when the sun's right in my face. I'm gonna close.
He's shifted like 3-4 times.
Yeah. Now I'm perfect. I'm in the shade. By the way, if you want to watch us on YouTube, especially today because our cameras are on point, you could see every wrinkle on our faces.
John just got
we're all lit up.
1080p, because he was feeling. Oh, yeah. He has 4K, but you could kick it up to 4K, and then you could beat me in the resolution department.
Yeah, I'm going to.
We're also going to be uploading these videos eventually to Spotify. We have to. There's some technical considerations.
I applaud the fact that you show emotion. I think you're a great example of someone, a man who is okay with that. So even when we're just talking about death and you got a little emotional, I love that, man. I think that's. Speaking of, we can do better. Men in general, all humans, but men in general can do better at giving them permission to feel. So.
Yeah, the wild thing is doing that in front of 12 other people.
Yes, but that's kind of what you signed up for, right? They all know people are going to go on a roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah, it is what you signed up for, but there is something actually extra powerful about it being in front of other people, right? Because then people see your sadness, they get affected by it, they get sad. It's sort of like it's dynamic. It's really fun.
You know what? I just did 2 days ago, which was, speaking of powerful, 4 men around the table. 10 minutes, and this, of course, was my idea, looking into each other's eyes. So you pick a partner, and you're looking into each other's eyes. So it's basically eye gazing.
Yeah.
And we're going around saying, if you really knew me, you would know that. And you know.
Oh, wow.
Dude, we were bawling.
There's no way. There's no way you can't bawl. There's no way you can't.
There's no way. There's no way. It went from like... one of the guys, he was black, and he said, if you really knew me, you would know how hard it is to be a black person in this world.
Real quick, course, I got to stop you. Is this in the men's group?
No, this was for the pilot.
Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. Do you have buy-in to talk about this stuff?
You mean permission?
Yeah.
I don't think I get permission. I just talk, man.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything that's. I'm not saying anything that's leaking anything, and just saying what we did.
Well, Just from an integrity standpoint, I think this is probably fine because this was the recording, right? You were recording this for the TV show.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's legit, but I think men's group stuff, like unless you
Oh,
tell all the
no.
guys.
Of course. No, dude, I wouldn't say things that we disclose in our men's group publicly.
Well, I feel like you might have kind of touched on some stuff about the men's group, you know.
Which rule number one is we don't talk about it.
Yeah, exactly, dude. That's what you told me.
Have I ever said anything? I mean, I hope not. I don't want to. That's not, dude. That's confidential, of course.
Yeah, no. I think you might have. I don't think you divulged anything about anybody else, but you might have said sort of like what we just said. Hey, the theme was, and this was my answer.
I'm okay with that. But I would never say like, hey, David said this about his wife. I mean, I would never disclose.
No, of course not. Of course not. Yeah. Okay, cool. Anyways.
My point was, of course I've heard that before, but I've never heard that with someone next to me. Just the energy of someone next to me, and say, I instantly started crying.
Yeah, of course.
And then everyone else started crying and all that.
Yeah, it's like there's no way that you're not crying the whole time or most of the time through that exercise.
There's just something about men in that space because it's a rare space that we're in. I mean, touching shoulders and making eye contact and staring at each other for 10 minutes. I mean,
yeah.
That's like you might do that once in your lifetime.
Yeah.
And that's only if you know me.
Yeah. eye gazing for men between men is going to be really challenging.
Yeah. That's an exercise.
Most people aren't going to see themselves in that kind of space.
Usually, so we've done this at retreats, and usually they fuck around, they make jokes, they're really uncomfortable, and then it takes about 3 or 4 minutes to even take it seriously.
Yeah. Yeah, in my retreats, we usually do a mandala breath work where let's say there's 20 people, you'll have 10 people on the inside facing out and then 10 people on the outside facing in. And then you'll do breath work while maintaining eye contact for 4 minutes. And then you switch.
That's next level, man.
And then you switch with another person and another person and another person. It's
Speaking of retreat, Shaun and I are doing our first retreat real quick.
Hell yeah, not real quick, dude.
I mean, I just don't want this to be an advertisement, but Valentine's Day, just wanted to remind you guys.
February 14th, 15th, 16th.
Yeah.
Love Thyself, a winter retreat for singles with John and Shaun. In Idlewild.
Onesies.
Queen size beds at Tequis Pines Resort.
Yes, I call it Taquito Pines. And
chef prepared meals.
Wait. But the chef is making Valentine cookies that you're going to be able to do the icing and play with.
Shut up, really?
Heart-shaped cookies. Yeah, we're going all out, man. Yeah.
We're going to do process group. We're going to do ice.
Yeah, ice, breath. We're going to light a fire. I don't know how, but hopefully Shaun does.
What's up with the sauna?
It's there. It's just we just can't put 20 people in it.
No, but we can have little sessions.
Yeah, we can jump in. It's like a 4-person sauna.
Oh, we're doing sauna. I'm doing sauna.
Yeah, Shaun will be doing sauna and stuff. Yeah, you can watch.
But it's gonna be a great time. Oh, there's like a live stream from inside the sauna. The sauna's fabric free, though. I heard if it's a real Swedish. What the fuck?
Sorry, dude, my camera.
Your camera unplugged.
All right.
Yeah. John's having technical issues.
I'm going to switch the camera, but are we going to get to questions? Okay. This is kind of a cool look.
It's not a cool look. Okay. Yeah, we can get to questions. So we could do better retreat. How many people already signed up? 6?
There's already like 7, and there's going to be, I don't know. What do you want to cap it at? There's so many things we can do.
I'm not sure.
But
18 or 20. However many people fit in your living room comfortably.
Yeah. Dude, I've had up to 30.
Well, fuck. I don't know, man.
We have to decide.
It's
if we go 30, we have to rent another house.
It'll be festive.
It's going to be cozy. It's going to be cozy no matter what. Yeah.
No, let's not rent another house. Let's just do this one.
We'll cozy. Listen, if we want to service everyone. So if we get to 30 or 40, we'll just run it again, like really soon. Yeah.
Wow. John wants to service everyone. Okay, link in the show notes to sign up. February 14th, 15th, 16th. Have a corrective experience with us about Valentine's.
And listen, man, there's something about, and hopefully a bit co-ed, men and women, there's something about sitting in the living room and being open with other sexes that can be corrected.
Yeah. Well, is it all women so far?
I have to look, but
Okay. Come on, guys. Let's go. I mean, do I need to spell this out? What kind of a fantastic opportunity this
no,
might be
you don't have to
for
spell that out.
single guys?
Yeah.
No. Okay. Real quick, I'm still nicotine free. Just
Congratulations.
want to celebrate that.
Wow. Wait, how many days or weeks?
I think it's 2 weeks now. I think the last Monday was like, yeah, I think we're on a weekly schedule now. Monday's the day.
Hey, is it easier or harder as the days go by?
Oh, much easier. I don't think about
nice. Dude, you're on your way, man.
Liquor stores are a trigger though, man.
Yeah.
Fuck. They're everywhere. Okay, so we were going to talk about, let's get to the wounded masculine and feminine and the sacred masculine and feminine.
Let me get my phone out.
Get your phone out. And we have a question that's sort of related to
You want to do the question first? Why?
Sure. I also want to remind people, we got some feedback that was like, hey, you guys are doing too much like heterosexual stuff. Okay, well then send us your queer questions. It's like, if you want to see something that we're not doing, send us a question. Leave us a voicemail. We will consider it. And also, please, do not be driving when you leave the voicemail. If your audio sounds like garbage, we're not going to use it no matter how good the question is. That's just me setting a boundary.
I thought you were saying that because you care about our listeners. You don't want them to crash the car, but...
No, I care about the other listeners who have to listen to a shitty audio message. 657-549-1001. I'm feeling a little spicy.
You are.
John.
I like it. It's hot.
I'm feeling a little spicy.
So imagine 4 boxes, and I reminded Shaun I don't like not finishing things that we talked about, and this was from a few episodes ago, and I think we kind of forgot about it. So I wanted to bring it back up. We're talking about the wounded masculine, the sacred masculine.
Boom!
Oh my God, Shaun, that's hot, man.
I know. I know. If you're watching the video, there it is.
Wounded masculine, right? And these are just some words to describe, so you get a feel. And by the way, we're just kind of talking about energy, right? So wounded masculine, forceful, dominating, manipulative, overthinking, overdoing, controlling, demanding, right? Broad strokes. Sacred masculine or healthy masculine is presence, aware, structured, holding space, discerning, decisive, has a clear purpose. Shaun, can you read the wounded feminine?
Yeah, the wounded feminine is repressed truth, feels unworthy, shame and guilt, weak boundaries, codependent, always apologizing, over-explaining. And the sacred feminine, these are just qualities. Expressive, intuitive, connected with love, compassionate, creation, free-flowing, and radiant.
And so the goal would be to live in the space of the sacred or healthy masculine, sacred, healthy feminine. So when you look at those qualities, those are all amazing qualities, right? So creation, structure, presence, expressiveness, intuition. A lot of people are lopsided in that they have one or the other, or they live in the wounded space. So controlling, dominating, forceful, shame, guilt, weak boundaries. So when you look at all the traits above in the wounded, whether it's masculine and feminine, that's basically what a toxic relationship is, not only with other people, but with self. When you look at what is sacred / healthy in the masculine and feminine, that's where you should try to swim, right? Look at radiant, free-flowing, compassionate.
Yeah. Interesting. I'm trying to think about like how this fits with me, like where I sit in this. And if every being has, some feminine and masculine qualities,
both wounded and
we're not saying that we're not saying that the men have only masculine qualities and the women only have feminine qualities, but we all have all of this. If I look at these, I go like, okay, well, I think I embody sacred masculinity. I think a lot of these, I'm able to hold space, I'm structured, I'm aware, I'm present, I'm discerning, I'm decisive. I think I'm pretty good there. But if I look at the wounded feminine, like I identify with having sometimes weak boundaries and feeling codependent, and over apologizing, over explaining, feelings of unworthiness, over being intuitive, compassionate, free flowing.
Yeah, so I would say that you have generally speaking, you have a healthy masculine energy. but also there are some parts of you that have a wounded feminine energy.
Yeah. And I don't identify with being dominating, manipulative, controlling, demanding, or forceful. Like none of that stuff really I identify with.
Unless you're role playing.
So I'm kind of
Unless you're
what's
role
that?
playing.
Unless I'm role playing. Yeah, which I don't do a lot of. So I'm kind of curious, where do you fit into this?
I definitely, like you, have one foot in the healthy masculine, right? The ability to hold space and be aware, present, clear sense of self purpose. But I also struggle with, I do have wounds, right? Like everyone else. So I can be dominating, forceful, controlling, demanding. I could also be codependent. I have weak boundaries, I feel like. I'm inappropriate. I have shame and guilt, all that stuff. I would love to be more in the sacred / healthy feminine. This I love, free flowing.
Yeah, me too.
This seems like this seems elevated, right? So like compassionate, creation, radiant, free flowing, intuitive. And it's funny because I think a lot of men would read this box and they'll judge it and say it's not masculine to be radiant, but I gravitate toward that box right there.
Yeah, I think a part of me is a little scared to be a man that it exhibits those qualities. Maybe because of how I would be judged by other men and or women who are looking for a more like, quote unquote alpha male. But I guess if you could balance all of this, then you have sort of just a healthy human.
Yeah, I think that's the goal. And it's also the same thing with attachment, where there's a spectrum. And as much as you are swimming towards securely being attached, you're gonna snap back. There's gonna be avoidant, or if you're anxious, tugs. And so I think this is just a good map. I think it's just fun to look at this and then know kind of where you fall and what you want to work on. But no one is permanently in one box.
Yeah. We swim.
Also.
We swim.
All right, question.
Cool. All right, let's go.
Do you...
Hey, Shaun and John. My name is Susan, and I'm 49. And I'm wondering if you could please speak to the nuanced cat and mouse game that we're all supposed to play during the early stages of dating and getting to know one another. When I meet someone I like, I'm always transparent about my feelings, and I wear my heart on my sleeve. But friends are often telling me that I need to take a step back and to give men a chance to pursue me a little bit. And I'm wondering if this is true. It all just feels like such a game. We're adults, and we're supposed to be communicative and honest with each other. At least that's what Shaun always teaches us. But now I'm being told that I need to let men chase me, and I'm feeling confused and conflicted. I was wondering if you could please let me know what your thoughts are about women holding back just a little bit with the intention to let men pursue them, and how you feel about being pursued by women during those very, very early days of dating. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Games. Cat and mouse.
What do you think?
Well, I can only really speak from my experience, which is that every woman that I've dated that has become a serious relationship, there were no games at the beginning. We just kind of fell hard for each other. I was pretty open about my feelings towards them. They were open to their feelings towards me, and we just kind of like jumped into a relationship. Now, I'm not saying that's the best way. Like, it certainly was not a slow burn. Most of my relationships have been like hot and heavy from the get-go. And so and that's why I don't like games. I don't like ambiguity, but I also understand the role of like not having to know everything all the time about how somebody feels about you, and giving people time to figure out how they feel about you.
Yeah, on the first few dates, I would say less history, more mystery. I don't think there's a difference between transparency, being vulnerable, and vomiting your story. So I do think mystery early on can be fuel for chemistry. But I don't like games. I think the number games, like don't call someone back 3 days, or don't sleep with this person. Like whenever you put numbers in strategy, and it starts to feel like chess. There are also some women who are like, I'm not going to ever call anyone. Like, he needs to call me. It's like, or like the I love you, like when you're ready to say I love you, but then you're not going to say it unless they say it. All of that stuff feels like chess to me. And it feels like you're waiting to make the move depending on what the other person does. And all of that feels dishonest. So I'm not a big fan of games.
Yeah. I think the best strategy that I have for this is have a full life so that you already have some other shit going on, so you don't abandon yourself too quickly to a new relationship. And you're like, yeah, I'm available. I got nothing. I'm open. I'm wide open.
But the caller said she wears her heart on her sleeve. So I wonder what that means to her. That's a good thing, but I don't think on the first date you're divulging you're asking questions, not just vomiting your entire story and how you feel about the person. Is there chemistry? What do you think? Do you look into my eyes? Like, that's it's a little too much, too fast.
Yeah, heart on your sleeve is tough because we do want people to be open, but I think too much of that is actually a repellent, and it's actually inappropriate.
Oh, it could be kind of like smearing boundaries a little bit, force fed. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how much of this, I used to call this puking on my shoes in AA. We'd meet someone and they just trauma dump all their shit on you, and you're like, Mike, I barely know you. What are you doing? But all that to say is that in 12-step recovery, we are learning about boundaries and how to be humans without drugs and alcohol. So it's kind of okay to do that. But I don't think this is what she's doing, but she might be divulging a little too much.
Yeah. And you have to decide, but you'll know by how people respond to it. Right. Here's a good measure. If you find yourself saying what you usually say to your therapist on the first, second, third date to a stranger, that might be a little too much.
Yeah. I have this thing where sometimes I'll meet someone, actually oftentimes I'll meet someone and I'll be like, is it you? Are you the love of my life? I'm saying this to myself. I guess the suggestion is don't say that to them.
Out loud. Well, there needs to be a cadence and banter. There needs to be flirtation, right? Once you've passed that, then yes, you could definitely talk more, disclose more about how you feel and what things mean and all that. But early on, it could definitely flip the magnet for sure.
I like less history, more mystery. I'm always blown away. I should stop being blown away by your wisdom and your poetry, because there's so much of it, But I like that.
It's a nice mantra.
Also, it is, but we're not talking about mystery in order to manipulate.
No, right.
I think we need to be clear about that.
We're not talking about hiding. We're not talking about, I'm not going to tell her I have a whole other family, or, we're not talking about lying. Right?
We're not lying. Yeah.
Mystery as in, I want to peel the onion. I'm curious about this person, that kind of mystery. I want to know more.
I think if someone asks you, it's kind of hard because you have to balance having a conversation with someone and also to a certain degree withholding some of your history, right?
Yes.
So how do you do that in a way where it doesn't make it sound like you're being cagey about your past?
Right.
And I think something along the lines of oh, I'd love to answer that once we get closer, or if we get closer.
Hey, and I love that because there's also on the other side, if you ask someone directly, hey, what was your high school like? And they're just very being like generic and broad strokes, or they turn it back to you. That's also kind of a shield. That could also be a turnoff. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's just a funny question to be weird about,
But what you said,
what was your high school mascot? And you're like, well, wouldn't you like to know?
Or what was yours? Or why are you asking that? But if you're like, hey, I like you. I like this is where this is going. I think it's a little early, but I definitely would want to share more about my story as we go. I think that's nice.
Yeah,
that feels good, and that feels like you're not playing games.
Yeah. Or what's your relationship like with your family? You're like, oh, I don't really feel comfortable talking about that right now, but I'd love to share that with you.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Instead of just completely dodging the question.
What if they're like, what? How was your last breakup? Why did the relationship end?
Oh, I think you could do broad strokes. I don't think you should go into detail and dominate the next hour of the conversation, but you can say, "Oh yeah, we faded. There was infidelity." I think you should definitely. That's just life. It's normal, you know.
Yeah.
I also don't like when
we wanted different things.
Yeah, and I also don't like when people judge you because you said one thing about your ex, or you said one thing about your divorce, or you said one thing about something in the past, and they're like, they judge you on it. Like, oh, does that mean that it's not closed? Are you carrying something, and is that going to impact? Like I think people jump to conclusions just because we mentioned our ex or something that happened in a previous relationship, and that's just us being human.
Yeah. Cool. You think we helped this
Who
person?
cares? I'm just kidding. Sorry. Did I say that out loud?
I love that. I love that. That was good. John's getting a little spicy.
Hey, listen, I'm trying to meet you where you're at.
I'd love for you to get spicy.
You come in with a little Tabasco. I come in with a little what's the Hirachi? No, Sriracha. Is that racist?
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe. Like, why can't I be Tabasco?
Well,
you be Sriracha, right? Why did I?
I mean, dude, Tabasco. No offense, is the worst hot sauce. I mean, it's
like boomer.
Sometimes
hot sauce. It's like from the 50s.
I'll go like you. You guys have hot sauce, and they're like, we have Tabasco. I'll be like, nah, I'm good.
Okay,
Never
so
mind.
would it be more like chalupa for you? What would
Cholula? Yeah, Tapatio.
Okay, maybe you're Tapatio.
Yeah, I love Sriracha. It just depends. You can't put it on. I mean, some people say you can put it on everything. No, I don't think you should not put it on everything.
Not on like breakfast burritos and stuff. Sriracha does not go good with eggs. It goes good with rice and a lot of Asian dishes.
I'm gonna disagree with you on that.
You put sriracha on eggs?
Oh yeah, in breakfast burritos.
No,
definitely.
That's gross.
No.
So Tabasco is great with eggs, even though
it is.
I like it. I like it's classic.
This is a clip for Instagram.
Okay.
I'm saving this.
Perfect.
People, comment Tabasco or sriracha on eggs. That's what we need to know. Okay. Let's see what else.
Yes,
another question. Okay. Boop, boop. Here we go.
Hey, Shaun and John. Thanks for the podcast. I've heard some of the things that Shaun has talked about in the past about his wanting to be a pleaser and maybe being a bit avoidant. I certainly have the same. I tend to date a lot of women, have a lot of success. On paper, I'm a great catch, they all say. But I always find the ick or the thing that I just can't get past. So trying to find connection in that environment is challenging. Just wanting to know what Shaun has done to address that to build more meaningful relationships. It's one thing to be able to have success in meeting and dating women. It's another thing to find something serious. I've been divorced for 9 years, had a few serious relationships, but always find a reason to get out. And again, it's Andrew in Seattle. Thanks.
Can you take the lead on this one?
What is Andrew's question exactly? It's kind of buried. What is he asking?
The question is how to become less avoidant and how to not get the ick. He seems to always get the ick after meeting someone, and he disconnects. Meeting people is easy, staying is hard. And wants to know what I did, which I haven't really done. I mean, I'm doing stuff, but I'm kind of curious from a therapist perspective. Like, if you lean towards being an avoidant, then how do you like train yourself to stick around?
Dude, this whole thing with the ick, and I guess it became popular because of the rom-com Nobody Wants This. I'm not sure if that's that.
Oh, it's been a thing for a while.
Dude, I'm not a big fan of it because I think too many have their black light turned on to just leave that shit at home. I mean, what? So like, if you notice someone kind of chewing with their mouth open a little bit, is that going to be a deal breaker? I feel like we, especially the younger generation, I don't know if the word's too picky. Their non-negotiables are way too set in stone. You know, like if the person has the wrong type of shoe, or if they walk funny, like, you know, like it's like, come on, man. And it to me would be if someone is treating the server poorly, or is an asshole to the busboy, or, you know, things like that.
Yells at their mom.
like Shaun and I. Yeah, like if it's tied to character, I could see that being an ick. but not like surfacey stuff. I feel like the ick has now become very surfacey. Like, oh my gosh, he uses hairspray. I can't date this guy.
Yeah.
Or he shops here. He shops at Vaughn's or something. I don't know. It's
yeah. So I think the ick is an opportunity for you to leave a relationship when it gets hard.
Yeah.
Right. Instead of sticking through conflict, right? Because I think every relationship there's a point where they come off the pedestal and they become a real person again. There's like that ego separation that happens, right? There's the joining of the ego when you meet someone, you go, they get me. I've known this person my whole life, like I feel like I've known this person my whole life. We're meant to be together. That's where like the ego collapses into each other. And then after a while that stops, right? And that's an important bonding period for people in a relationship. And then there's a separation where you see them as a separate again. And then you go, oh fuck, they wear Converse and they use hairspray. And they like Tabasco. And that's a problem for some people, right? Including myself. We go, okay, I can't be with this person if this is who they really are. But we're not really seeing the real person, and there's a lot of fear, I think, that takes over.
Yeah, I think we have to focus more on what's foundational than, if someone is wearing a certain type of shoe or using a certain type of hot sauce.
What needs are being met?
Can this person hold space? Do they have capacity? And I wonder with the caller, because he said on paper he's good on paper. He's probably successful and attractive. He probably has a lot of opportunities. I think people like that can, because they feel like they have a lot of opportunities, can turn on their black light more so than people who maybe can't get dates that often. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's how I feel.
Oh shit! Shaun is someone who exactly. Who maybe you're being way too picky or critical, because you do have options, and I get it. Like when people have options, yeah. I mean, it's like buying a car, right? Like if you can afford your dream car, you're not going to pick something that's that's not up to your standard. You're going to want leather and cruise control and sunroof and a sport mode. And so I get it, but I think people then can lose out on a lot of opportunities of amazing people because they dismiss them too fast.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
What if they don't have that much style, but they're amazing to you in the relationship, or they're compassionate and caring and supportive? Versus what if someone who has an impeccable style and great taste in whatever restaurants and music, but maybe they're self-centered, or they can't hold a good space, or they're not supportive, So, I mean, I don't know. I guess it depends on what you want.
Let me tell you, man, if I was driving cross country, I'd rather be in a Lincoln Town car than a new Ferrari.
Yeah. Ferrari. I don't like Ferraris because you have to worry about like if a bird shits on it, and like you can't enjoy a Ferrari.
I can get in it. I can't get out.
It's uncomfortable. Yeah. Yeah.
It's hard to get out.
And also, those aren't the only choices, So.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be a like a Hyundai Ioniq or
only
whatever.
The Hyundai Ioniq N, which is N with the it's a 0-60 in 2.7 seconds, and
but you didn't
have 4 doors.
You didn't get the N. You didn't. You
no,
did get
I did
the
not
N?
get the N. No,
you didn't get the N. That's okay. There's more. You can get the N later.
Yeah.
John got a new Hyundai.
Shaun, there's some things that we just don't want to see. I'm embarrassed now, dude. You know what's interesting, dude? I've never had a Hyundai in my life, and wait, hold on. I gotta talk about this shit because this is activating. I'm a car guy. By you announcing to the public that I bought a Hyundai, I'm embarrassed, first of all, and I feel like I've got to stick up for myself. I'm already saying that, hey, listen, it's our EV, a family car, so it's not my pick, and I'm being very defensive. But in the 90s, when Hyundai first came out, the Hyundai XL was like a Yugo. It was like a piece of shit.
It was a piece of shit. It was like a tin can. Yeah.
The Hyundais today, especially with the Ioniq 5N, it's like the girl who went to summer camp, came back, took off her glasses, and you're like, holy shit, she was a nerd, but now she's hot.
Braces came off. She was wearing baggy sweaters, but she's banging the whole time.
She had this amazing body underneath. We didn't know. that's what the Hyundai's become. And so there's a part of me that's embarrassed because I grew up like pushing culture away. Anything Korean, I hated. I was embarrassed of it. I had a lot of shame and all that. But the Hyundai, the cars, they're sick. And it's because some guy from BMW went over to Hyundai and changed the whole design and company around.
I mean, look, I was not saying it as a dig.
I just had to let that out.
I think they're cool now.
I know, but
right, Kias are cool now too.
I, as a Korean American who grew up in the 80s, have issues with my own culture and acceptance. And so when you tell people I'm driving a Hyundai, I get so activated.
Is it about culture, or is it about the fact that it for a long time was never a cool car?
Yeah, all of that. A lot of it's culture. It's never a cool car. Hyundais are now amazing cars, but there's a part of me that's like, oh, it's Korean. I don't want it. I have to drive a BMW or something cool or vintage. You know, cars like me are like how women are with men's shoes.
You in cars is like women in shoes.
Well, if you wear some shoes with holes in it and shit, that can be Nick very fast. I think women.
You judge people on the car they drive.
Well, myself first. I don't say judge. Okay. I think we could tell a lot about what kind of car someone drives or what they like, what kind of cars they like. I wouldn't say what they drive, what they like.
I just want to get love to everybody who has a Hyundai.
Yeah.
Whether old or new. It's okay.
Hey, and
I don't judge you the way John judges you.
What a great sponsor. That would be great if Hyundai was a sponsor.
I mean, I'll be honest. I was just thinking about the fact that I have two cars that are actually not very fuel efficient.
No, you have
and they're not actually neither are very.
You have a big truck, and then you have a stick shift from the 90s.
It's not a big truck. It's a small. It's a first gen Tacoma, and they're actually quite.
Oh, it looks big
because
you got a camper on it. That's why.
I got a little camper on it, but yeah, it's stout. It's stout. But it doesn't get good gas mileage, and the M5 doesn't get good gas mileage. I'm actually realizing that my dog is going to become an age where he won't be able to get in and out of the truck. And I'm going to have to carry him up and down, and that's going to be
I never liked EVs. They drive like rubber bands. I know they're very fast, but you don't hear pistons. I never liked them, right? There's something amazing about never having to put gas in your car. It's so weird.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, I could drive this and it's pretty much free. I just plug it into my outlet. It's so weird, man. It's
yeah, it just blends in with the rest of your usage, your electricity
but
usage.
It is a really well-made 4-door family car. But the John Kim car, the car that excites me, that we're still considering. So I don't know what that car is going to be. It's not going to be a Hyundai.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is it? It's like a little M3 or something.
Instead of an N, it might have an M. I don't know. Before this, we had a family car. We had an M BMW X3, and it was amazing because it was like a family car SUV. But then when you put it in sport mode, you could then rip around corners and stuff. So anyway,
you don't even have to put it in sport mode to do that. It'll just rip.
Anyways,
we probably lost half our listeners there.
That's why I tried to make it therapeutic. I didn't want to talk about fucking cars, but what it meant to be activated and where that's coming from. That's what I was trying to get to, not so much,
the car. That I didn't. I mean, I guess part of me was kind of poking, because I think I know how you feel about the Hyundai, but I don't feel the way you feel about the Hyundai.
I know.
I like cool cars, whether they're electric or not, or
it's my own insecurity, man. It's my own insecurity and my own things that I need to work through when it comes to Korean products, cars, all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
And it doesn't make you any less of a man, right?
Yes, that is true, unless you're driving a Cybertruck. If you're driving a Cybertruck, I think you're less of a man.
That is funny. Yeah, I don't know how to even think about Cybertrucks.
Oh, God, the Cybertruck to me is like the new Hummer. Remember the giant Hummers where people were like, what are you driving?
Yeah. What are you
that's good. There is something cool about the Hummer that Arnold Schwarzenegger drove, which is takes the entire road. It's like it's a real Hummer. Military Hummer. It's like vintage. There's something badass about that. But back in the day when they had these huge Hummers that you couldn't even park, and it's that's what the Cybertruck reminds me of. A lot of posturing.
Okay, one last question before that. Everybody, please leave us a review or a rating on Apple or Spotify. Actually, we found out that you could leave comments and reviews on Spotify. I've been reading them. Thank you. Yeah, some of them are what's wrong with Shaun? Why is he so mean to John?
Yeah.
Or maybe someone's like, I think he's withdrawing from nicotine, and that's an astute observation. So leave us a review. And also, okay, John, you can only pick one. It's a Cybertruck or it's a PT Cruiser.
Oh, I'd rather walk. I would rather walk.
No,
I would rather walk.
You have to. You live in Altadena. You have no other car. You got to get your kids to school.
God, that's a hard question. I don't think I can answer that, Shaun. I don't think I can answer that. Those are probably two of the my least favorite cars on the plane. I would just take my bike, take the motorcycle.
No, you don't. That's not an option.
All right. I'd probably take the PT Cruiser just because you could park it.
I would take the Cybertruck because it could drive itself.
I think you're right. I think I would go Cybertruck. Then I would just lean into the douchiness.
The douchebag. Yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
You know what I love about our podcast? We do it Monday and it airs by Thursday. It's almost like live radio. I love how fast it comes out. And I'm saying this but when you're hearing this weekend, we're going live on the rooftop of, I almost said Mamma Mia, Mama Shelter in Hollywood. Cool rooftop, intimate. And also, we're not sitting on chairs. We're sitting on giant couches.
Yeah.
Puddle.
And I have a surprise for you.
Yeah. And I'm also going to bring a bunch of books. We're going to give away some books. I'm going to ask questions. And then if you get the right answer, I'll give you free. They're hardcover books. They're expensive books. They're not like soft cover. I'm bringing the real deal.
Cool. Maybe I can get one.
You gotta answer a question, Shaun. And also,
okay.
Shaun, I think if we see men in the audience, we should bring them up first. Yeah.
Maybe. Celebrate them?
Whenever I see a man listening to our stuff, it gives me a heart boner. And I wanted to, if they come up.
A heart on.
No, not a heart
John,
on.
A heart on.
No, it gives me a heart boner, not a heart on. A heart on is, it's very different.
A heart on.
Oh, heart on. Oh, heart on. Okay, right. Because boner's so elementary and immature. A heart on. It's hard to say, man. A heart on is hard to say. English is my second language. So that's listen.
It was just a missed opportunity.
Yeah, that's great.
It's still early.
We're going to do drone shots and shit. It's going to be amazing. So come have coffee with us at 10:30ish, and then we're going to go upstairs.
No. Coffee at 10. The podcast starts at 10:30. It's not ish. It's 10:30
in LA,
on the
everyone
dot.
goes by ish.
Well, it doesn't matter because I'm new to LA and we're going to start at 10:30.
Right.
We're going to end at noon. Because the restaurant opens at noon, we have to have.
Yes.
They're going to let people in.
So at noon it'll go wide. But you can hang out and you can chat and be social. It's a great time.
10 a.m.
All
Don't
right.
be late. 10 a.m. That's all you need to know. Link in the show notes if there are any tickets available at that point.
Thank you for listening. Be well.
Be well. Yeah, be well. Be well.